Well, this is the astute, astounding superlatives, all those things I can give you. Phil Vassar, country
No.
music singer, songwriter, who's had a number of number one hits. I was very impressed reading all this bio on you. Uh, and I'm not going to give your age. I'm just going to say that you're 9 months older than I am. So how's
Well,
that?
I am. Yeah, it's hard to be 85.
85.
Oh man, I feel great now. I feel way better than I did about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it's great.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a little bit about that. I'm not going to go a lot of detail on that because you had so many articles that go to detail. But I want to thank you for joining me tonight. And this is going to show up in bits and pieces. He'll take the sound bites from it and pieces from it for my social media and my website. And it'll
Great.
be on a YouTube channel that I'm trying to get going on for me. But
Okay.
I've always wondered, first of all, how did you get started? Did you wake up like as a child and say, I wanted to sing or I wanted to write songs or perform?
That's all I've ever wanted to do. I'll be honest with you. Um, you know, I thought of, of course, I went to school, went to James Madison. That's where I went to college, and I grew up in Virginia. Um, but for about 10 minutes, I thought about, man, medicine may be a cool thing. So I worked at a hospital. That was my first job. Worked in a morgue. I worked in, um, just, it was a great job. It was a great summer job. But then, of course, I ran track in college and did all that stuff. And then, um, I just wanted to I wanted to get into music. That's just all I've ever wanted to do. So it's pretty boring that way, but
So is that what
uh,
brought you to Nashville?
that's what it did, man. I actually, my coach, my track coach at James Madison is his cousin's in the Statler Brothers. It was a very famous Virginia band, and so that's kind of how it happened. He said, "Man, you know what you want to do," and so I said, "Yeah." So I did. So actually, I moved to Nashville, and I did the right thing. It took a while, Of course, being a piano player, everybody looked at me like I had three heads, and for a while. But
You didn't play guitar?
I mean, I played guitar a little bit. I just didn't. I wasn't drawn to the guitar as much as I was the piano. I mean, I feel when I'm up behind a piano, like I am now, I just sit here and I just know what to do. And but I'm getting better. I've kind of I collect guitars, of course, and over the years I'm picking it up again and playing it. And I'm actually doing an acoustic tour in the fall where I'm going to be playing some guitar on that tour. So it'll be fun.
Okay. Now, is that back in Canada or is that here in the States?
It's going to be here in the States. Actually, it's in the Northeast in DC, Baltimore, Boston, all that. And that's what we're doing. But you know what? We're adding more dates, mostly East Coast stuff. And right now I just got back from Anguilla doing a private show there. That was great. And
Okay, I got to
and
ask, where's that? You
it's in
said,
the Caribbean. Yeah,
okay.
it's right next to St. Martin and St. Kitts, and so it's I've got a buddy of mine actually who coaches the national team in St. Kitts, a good friend of mine that I went to college with, and so it's just I love the Caribbean. I love the water. I had a place down there for a long time for almost 2 decades actually, and but I still love to go, and it's uh, it's awesome, So it's cool to get to play all over the place.
Now, when I hear stories like with Dolly and Elvis and that pitching that song and then not selling it over, how do you decide as a singer and songwriter which ones you're going to do and which ones you're going to let someone else do?
I wrote all those songs for me, is what I did. And then of course, I kept everybody hated them. Everybody hated the songs. The publishers didn't like it. Nobody liked the songs. Um, and I had this great following in Nashville. I had my own bar, my own restaurant, because I really couldn't get anybody to take me seriously as a piano player. But but I just had big crowds. Everybody was drawn to my live performances. So, Jody Messina, uh, Tim. I mean, all these people would come in, a lot of the people, the publishers, they'd be like, "How in the world do you not have a record deal?" I'm like, "I don't know. I've been trying to get one for a decade, and nobody seems interested." But finally, the labels started coming after me after I'd had my, I think, 10th number one song for whoever else. But it was just a process, and you can't really blame anybody, but I do.
But I'm sure that those helped in the process, right?
Yeah,
Helping
you know
someone else.
what it did. It's like oh man, I knew that song. I'm like I talked to these guys and I knew they hated the songs. This will never get cut in Nashville. This is not gonna get, they were wrong. So I mean, you just kind of have to
That's got to be satisfying.
you put your head down and you just have to go for it. And but yeah,
I
it was
mean, when it does work and they said it wouldn't, it's got to be satisfying.
oh, it's just great. You don't think I still give them hell about that. It's hard not to. They had their chance for a long time.
Now, as a person who writes fiction, I have, a method that works for me from
Mhm.
conception all the way to final copy. Do you have a particular method that works for you? How's the idea come to you, and how do you process it?
A lot of times it was, for me, it's just being, um, I don't know, it's like working out. You got to go to the gym every day, and
Mhm.
for me, that was kind of a thing. I would go to a certain place, write a song. Whether um, I had never co-written songs, and I met some of the greatest guys. I mean, I met guys like Charlie Black and um, Rory Burke, and these guys that had hits, and I think they saw in me something, this raw, energetic, spastic guy on piano. So it was, it really worked out. They knew how to kind of. Linda Hargrove, she was a great. She wrote Tennessee Whiskey. Um, her and Dean Dillon. So I mean, I met a lot of great writers, and um, and uh, and it's funny. I was thinking about it today. The first author to ever say they loved my songs was Stephen King, which
Oh,
is
really?
which is pretty crazy. I got a note and a signed book. I've got to find it's somewhere in my library somewhere, but. Uh, he loved the song Carlene. He said, "I love Carlene. It's one of my favorites. My favorite song." So I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And so it was. That was another thing that it's like all these things happened at one time. Um, it was like a decade, 10, 15 years where everybody just kind of was like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like light bulb went off and
Overnight
everybody,
success, right?
everybody got, yeah,
Yeah.
10-year overnight success. So, but it's fun,
Now, do
mental.
you do you collaborate often, or do you often write out by yourself?
Well, I love collaboration, and I always, I never did at first, so some of my biggest hits were songs I wrote by myself, and I sort of thought, well, maybe I should just do what I do. But usually an idea comes to me, like my next 30 years was a big hit for Tim McGraw, and um, it was a song I wrote on my birthday within 10 minutes. I wrote that song. I
Mm.
woke up and I went to my piano and I went, wow, I'm 30. So, I'm like, oh, it has been now. So,
That was a
but
couple years ago, right?
yeah, yeah, it was unbelievable. But it was one of those things where you just I learned so much from my writers, from my co-writer buddies, and I still do. They're still my best friends and my confidants. It's like uh, I've had people ask me, "Do you go to a therapist or anything like that?" I said, "I don't have to. I've got a songwriter. I've got my buddies that I can just talk to about anything." And that was always, um, it was always important for me, to have those kind of friends that you kind of come from the same cloth,
But
and
I understand you. Yeah.
yeah, they get it.
Right. Do you have one song that's probably the most meaningful
Mm.
to you in the process?
I don't know. I mean, 30 years is always going to be important because that was my birthday, and I'm all right was a song about one of my dear friends I grew up with and went to high school with, went to college with, and still he's actually the commissioner of revenue in my hometown in Virginia, and which is I always give him a hard time about it. I said, dude, didn't you cheat off me in math? I mean, I said, that's government. No, but but I still have a lot of the same guys. There was like a group of 10 of us, and all very close. And I'm going actually to Virginia this weekend, see my mother, and um, I'll get to see all those guys. We're already talking about getting together, and so it's always
Yeah.
that's they keep you grounded, and you can be honest, you can be yourself.
Well, speaking of grounding, you've done interviews on this before, but you've actually died and come back. And can you talk a little bit about how that's changed the way you wrote, the way you perform, your life itself?
Mm. It was such, it was. I wasn't aware. I knew something wasn't right. I knew I was having a really hard time, and I was tired a lot. And Jeff, my my tour manager and my guitar player and friend for since I was a kid, he was he said, "Man, you're working out too hard." I kept working out harder and harder, and I said, "I got to get through this." And he said, "Man, you're just working out too hard. You're working out too hard." And then boom, we were on tour with Dina Carter, doing a Christmas tour, which I always loved doing. Um, and I just wasn't feeling great. And so about a month later after the tour, I just dropped dead. And Carrie was with me, and so I think she called 911, and they said, well, listen, let me hear his breath or his breathing. I said, they said, well, he's having a heart attack. And so she had to do, some compressions until the crew got there. Then they did, they shocked me like 11 times. And, in there to, I mean, they could have stopped at any time, and it would have
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
we've done this 5 times or 8 times, but they kept going, and so then they got me back and I live really close to Vanderbilt Hospital, which is a great place to live close to, and they shocked me again in the ambulance on the way, so my heart stopped again, and then they stented me, um, so I just had genetic heart disease, and my doctor, who went to James Madison, and he kept going, studying, went to Georgetown, so thank God for that. But he just said, "Look, you just were genetically
Doing
predisposed.
everything right, but you just have
Yeah,
that
yeah, you
strike
were gonna
against you.
you were gonna die, right?" And he he said, he said, "Don't discount not drinking and doing drugs or doing the stuff that because that was your thing. You didn't. And but had you been maybe obese, and he said, who knows? He said, I doubt you would have ever seen the other side." So I mean, it was just one of those things where I'm a lot more patient now. I'm a lot more, um I don't know. I mean, it was so everybody thought I did drugs. I mean, everybody, and he's a musician, the guy that does, you know, drugs or something. But I didn't. I never did. I never was ever interested in it. I wasn't interested in drinking or, I
Is
was,
faith a part of your life?
faith was always a part of my life. You know,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I grew up in Lynchburg, Virginia. My neighbor was Jerry Falwell. The Falwells were
Really?
my neighbors. They lived on right, and the church in Thomas Road Baptist Church was, you know, right next to my house. So I grew up with it. I went to Christian school. Um, it was when they started busing people across town and all that. Sudden, my parents were like, you know, I went to a Christian school. I mean, I'm very thankful for that, you know. Now, as I look back, and it really did shape me, you know, it shaped the core of who I am, you know, and having that was, I'm telling you, having my faith was, you know, because you know, you when you're getting beat up so much by the business or people, I moved um, to Nashville, and having people that were. Um, you know, having that faith, I don't know how I got through it, except for that. I would have never done it, I think. But for me, it was just, it's always been a very important part of my life, you know, and, uh, and I'm very thankful that my folks did that, you know, sent me to school.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I want to transition to the last part of this to acting and then to the
Yeah.
series that we're getting ready to film. But how did you first get into acting? Because this is not going to be your
Mhm.
first gig.
Well, you know, um, I've always wanted to do it. I mean, and I actually um, took acting lessons from John Kirby, Bruno Kirby's brother. You know, and of course, I was a big Bruno fan, but they wanted me to do some Broadway stuff. They wanted me to do all these things, and I ended up, you know, doing. Um, I don't know. I mean, doing small roles, small things, and I. Oh, I was. But
Okay.
we're in the middle of I'm doing a podcast with Mitchell Garnes right now. Oh, hi. Yeah, my dog and Carrie just walked in.
All right. Well,
But
tell her,
it
hey.
but it but it was you know, I've always loved it. I've always wanted to do more of it. And you know, I've got, you know, of course when I did a few things when I was in LA doing some things, but I've done more you know, I wanted to do the guys called me when the Waitress came out.
Mhm.
There was a movie called The Waitress, and they took it to Broadway, and anyway, but you know, I've always been in the middle of touring, and I just really never could. It's hard for me to, you know. Huey Lewis is a dear friend, is one of my good friends, and he kept telling me, asking me if I would. He said, They want you to do Chicago on Broadway." And so he did the part. So I went and saw him do it, and he loved it. He said it was just a magical time, you know, for getting to do that. And but it just didn't fit into my schedule. Like album releases with record labels, I mean, you're kind of, your hands are tied a little bit. But now they're not, and I'm excited about being in your series, my friend.
I'm excited about it too. How did you even hear about Watergrave? It's
Well,
just kind of an odd connection for me from this side.
You know, it was Doug and um, Diane Marie. I mean, those guys. I mean, those guys. He started talking to me about it. We were, uh, I don't know. We were talking. They said, "Man, have you thought about acting?" I don't know if they knew I'd done acting before or done anything like that. But I said, "Well, I've been on tour for 25 years. I mean, I've been out. I mean, I haven't had time to do anything, but I've always wanted to do more. And and this came up, and then we started talking about it, and then we started talking, of course, and so I mean, I'm excited about the possibility of doing of doing all of this and getting started, and you know, I actually I feel like I'm a better actor now, probably now since I can I can think. I was really I was really having a hard time. I was really struggling, and I was always so. Everybody thought I did drugs and everything else, and I did drink a lot of coffee, but I never did drugs. And I don't even drink coffee anymore, really. So I'm pretty boring.
Well,
Pretty.
you're going to be playing the part of Detective Sam Tidwell, who
That's
is the
right.
partner to the lead Abbey Rhodes. So, what is it about Sam that you think you connect to, or that you'd like to see uh, happen on the screen with him?
Well, I mean, I think I could really relate to him. When I started reading that, I was like, "Holy smoke! I can relate to this guy." Of course, with this with his wife, and of course, Abbey Rhodes. Of course, Abbey reminds him of his daughter, and having two daughters, and so that sort of hit me right in the heart.
Mm.
With his wife and his daughter, and I just think it's exciting to get to do things now at this point in my life, at this point in my career, where I don't have to, always worry about touring and being on the road and this and that. I mean, it's been a long it's been a long 30 years. You're right,
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited about getting to do and focus my energy on different things.
And of course, as the author, I hope this goes beyond just Watergrave. I hope that the series takes and it continues to going, and you see the growth of Sam and
Absolutely.
the challenges he has, and how you two work as a team. And you've worked with and you've met Kristen Sweeney, who's playing Abby.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about the chemistry there?
Well, she's a talented girl, man, and she's
Oh yeah,
I mean, she is it's so fun to I mean, yeah, I've got friends that are actors and stuff, and just getting to actually, you know, it's intimidating a little bit. Of course, I've played in front of a million billion people, all these people, and been on TVs, but it's a different thing when you have to um, you have to really perform, and I'm just going to
to
be
do someone
taking.
else's words, right?
That's right. It's kind of interesting that way, but I get to actually learn. I'm going to learn a lot from this and from this experience, and I have no I have no fear of it really. I just am excited. I think more than anything, I'm just excited to be a part of this because it's so good. You know.
Yeah, it feels like it's Christmas because it's never coming. It's August August 2nd we're supposed to start, and then still the Kickstarter is kind of in limbo, and then you got the fundraising after that, and then you got the casting still, and I'm going, this is June. Um,
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I mean, we talked about starting the, beginning of the year,
mhm.
and so, I mean, I'm just, thank God I have patience now. I mean, I have, and I'm not, and I, and
I'm
I
still
hope
working on it.
I know, I hope you do too, bro. Because it is very, it's very, I don't know. It's hard to have things in other people's hands. You're just working on. That's what that's one thing about our business. A lot of times there's that, and I don't know. It's just it's just patience is a virtue, and I never really had it. I think until now. I don't
it.
know, but
It
I'm.
does take trials to develop that patience. It doesn't just come
Oh
naturally.
boy, you're not kidding. And we've all had them. We all do,
Oh
and
yeah.
and um, it's hard to be grateful for them, but you do learn a lot. You learn a lot from those times that the doors are slammed in your face a lot. You know.
Well, is there any comment you'd like to make about the series, or a question you have for me about the series before
Hmm.
we wrap this up?
Heck, I'm just excited about being part of it. I think I really appreciate you having me. Um, Play Sam. I think it's gonna be a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm excited.
I'm so ready to
And
get crazy on this thing.
yeah, because you have the person in your mind, when you're creating all these things, and you're just hoping they get somebody close. And so I'm really excited about
Mhm.
you as Sam, and then Kristen as Abby. And she
Yeah,
just seems like a firecracker ready to go.
she is a firecracker, man. She's great. I'm just, I'm gonna have to drink a lot of coffee to keep up with her just to, but she's wonderful, man. And just, and it's such a great, a great group of, um, folks. And I'm excited about writing songs for this thing. And um, I know we've
I
already,
think Mike did a great job with the screenplay.
oh my gosh, man, it's unbelievable. It's just so great. And so I just, I'm going to learn a lot and hopefully, uh, not mess it up.
All right. And I hope people read the book after they see the series or as a part of the series.
Oh my gosh, man, it's going to be so great. It's great. I tell you, I don't know how to, you know, I mean, everybody's talk to me. Of course, I'm a writer, being a songwriter forever, but I'm like, man, I never could ever. I mean, just to write a book. I mean, you have to. It's such a. I mean, you got what, 5 of these things this thick? I'm going, how in the world did he come up
Yeah.
with all that? It's
Well, I used to be
unbelievable.
a short story writer, and I did,
And
several short stories. But once you get to the book, you get to add so many other things. It's hard to go back to the shorter
really,
versions. Yeah.
yeah, it was
So
always, yeah, that's the
we had to
hardest.
cut probably 20,000 words out of Watergrave from the original
Really,
that I sent, because it had to be down to the 80,000 word mark. Because it was my first,
80,000.
and that 80,000 words. Yeah. Well,
And
the third book three's in the 100,000. I mean, so it's,
golly, man,
oh,
it
and
is
book
so.
four comes out in this month. Book four comes out this month, and then it's, yeah.
Man, you were just like streaming it, man. It's unbelievable. It's just crazy. I know.
Oh,
I
dream
never.
come true. Because,
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm so proud of you, man. That's so great.
well, thank you.
I'm just happy to be part of it. Thanks for
Well, I'm
having me.
looking
I really.
forward to the first day of filming and
Oh my
seeing how
gosh,
that
me too.
goes, and seeing who they cast for like Susan and for Skylar and some others. That's going to be, because those are the nerves that I have, as well as like that person has to have some range.
Right. Yeah. I
And
mean, it's definitely, man. That range is cool. That's a good word, but yeah, it's definitely, man. The characters are great. I love it, and that's the exciting part of watching it all unfold. It's going to
well,
be
thank
so
you for being
great.
on this. Hope we continue to be friends and see more of each other that way.
Well, absolutely, my brother. Well, thank you so much, Mitchell. Appreciate it, buddy.
And have fun on your tours as they go.
Well, I'm around for a while. If you need anything, let me know. If you need me to, cut your grass or anything.
Yeah.
I cut mine today,
I've got a
actually.
son-in-law that does that for me. So the nice thing
There
about
you go.
having daughters is they marry these guys that can do it.
Well, mine haven't done that yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh well. Well,
All right. You have a good night.
thanks, bro.